welcome to a bonus episode of Honest to a Malt. It's the OSWAs Rundown with myself, Duncan, and Mike. Mike?
Hello. I was going to set some air horns off in my head when you were like, bonus episode.
Bonus episode, yeah.
Little quick run through.
Mega warning, this one is super nerdy, totally for the whiskey community. So if you're really into your scotch, listen on.
Yeah.
If you're not into your scotch, just stop it before you get to a minute. It doesn't count on our plays.
End it now.
Go and listen to any one of the other 30 episodes, which are not this one. Yeah. You heard us, people.
This
Go and
has
listen
some
to us
actual
talking about
whiskey content.
Haircuts or something like that.
My bad back.
Yeah. All right. Enjoy.
Yes, enjoy. And hopefully you agree with what we say. And it'll be interesting to see what our choices come out of on the night in comparison to what everyone else picks. Go for
it.
Totes.
The OSWAs are coming up, right?
Yes.
So I voted. You have voted. The OSWAs are the online Scotch Whisky Awards. I'm going to send you the link. And
yeah,
I think
it's run by Roy and Ralfy. I think were the main guys behind it. It was their idea to sort of just take things away from the dubious world of awards, as we've mentioned previously on Gold Mamba. I can't remember what episode number it was, but we talked about the awards.
It feels like it was about 5 years ago. Although it was probably only April.
So we are just smashing out content.
Yeah.
Rubbish content, but we are consistent.
Yeah, you keep listening. We'll keep putting it out. Yeah. So yeah, Roy and Ralfy.
And the OSWAs were there to sort of just be a bit more honest, approachable, and for the average whiskey drinker to have a bit of an input.
Yeah. So I thought we should have a look at the nominations, and even though obviously the vote has now closed, but the awards ceremony will be up and coming soon. We'll put a link in the episode, and maybe just go through the categories and just share our thoughts. What do you think? Yeah. So
I like
do you want to open the link up?
So best value whiskey is the first category.
Yep.
And it is the American AD, 46.8%, 45 quid.
Yep.
Arran 10, 46% and £44.
Yep.
Brook Laddie, Classic Laddie, 50% ABV, 50 quid. Kilkerran 12 at 46%, £49. Lacheg 10, 46.3 at £44. And Port Charlotte 10, 50%, £56. So cheapest 44, most expensive 56.
So let's say
really represents good value.
So let's say you can only have two. Which two?
Yeah. I think I
thinking
voted.
Value.
I think I voted for Arran 10 just because it is outstanding. I love it. I've had so many bottles of it now, and you can pick it up a lot cheaper than 44 quid. I know part of the OSWAs is using like dedicated suppliers that aren't going to push price, but second to that, I think the Lacheg 10 as well, or Lechik 10.
I
46.3. Oh, do you know why it's 0.3?
Yeah. No, go on. Why is it 0.3? I don't know.
I can't remember the name of the is it the Whiskey Barons?
Because 3 is the magic number?
Podcast or a video chat? No, because there's a 0.3 tolerance within your ABVs. It guarantees that it'll never go cloudy.
Right, okay, cool.
There we go. So, those two, Arran 10, Lacheg 10.
Yeah, I think, look, at risk of being, a follower, I'd agree, really. I think the only thing might be that depending on the day of the week, I might switch out the Lacheg as much as I like it for the Port Charlotte, right? Because the PC10 is just absolutely blinding. It's so crisp and clean. It's like magical peaty whiskey. And so, either one of those. But there's a £12 price difference between the two of them. So I would only buy the PC10 when it's about 50 quid. Yeah. I wouldn't pay 56 for it, even though that feels like that's my line in the sand, and I'll only change it.
Do you get people asking you often, like, what whiskey would you buy if someone's got like a leave-in present or something?
Yeah, I do sometimes, yeah. But I don't usually, I always say if they don't like peaty whiskey, I'd say just avoid peaty whiskey. But
yeah, if you picked anything off this list for a whiskey drinker, you are like in the right area. They will absolutely appreciate any one of those bottles. Yeah. Anyone that knows this stuff would be well happy with it. But yeah,
that's true.
That one.
There we go. What about next category, Mike?
Do you want to move on to the next one? What are we on? Best blended whiskey.
Oh, by the way, on the just on the last category, just to be clear, have tried all of them, have had bottles of most of them. So, you know, and I think we should just point out if we've tried them or not. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
in the value category, yeah. Tried all, had bottles of 4 of them,
Most.
5 of them,
Yeah.
5 of them. There's only one I've only had samples of. Yeah.
And then, so next one is best blended.
Yep.
So we got the Chivas 18,
Yeah.
82 quid
It's
at
a bizarre,
40%.
bizarre inclusion, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cutty Sark Prohibition, 50% ABV, £27.
Look at the price difference.
My winner.
The price difference between the two of them is mad. Right?
Dewar's Double Double, 21-year-old, 46% ABV and £120.
Yep.
It's a bit steep for me, that one. But I'm sure it's good.
Yeah.
Johnny Walker Black, 12-year-old, 40%, 29 quid standard. McLean's Nose, 46% and £32.
Yep.
So that's really good value. And then, yeah, Thompson Brothers, the TB stroke BSW, 6-year-old, 40% ABV and 38 quid. Yeah, I've had, what have I had? Everything apart from the Dewar's and the
I haven't tried the
McLean's
Dewar's.
Nose.
Oh, no, I've had a sample of the Dewar's and I haven't tried the McLean's Nose either.
And I've probably owned, a bottle of everything apart from those two as well. So, hands down, Cutty Sark Prohibition.
Well, you made me blind taste, didn't you? And I picked it above pretty much the other stuff, didn't I think? Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd have to sort of agree with that. I think the Cutty Sark
And
Prohibition.
Thompson Brothers as well. Got to be coming in second place.
But also, blended, you know, I mean, for the price. And lots of people like that Thompson Brothers 6-year-old. That is magic as well. So those would be the two picks from us then, right? The Thompson Brothers 6-year-old. But to be fair, we haven't tried. I haven't tried McLean's Nose, so I can't say whether it's. But generally, people have been pretty positive about it.
And if I've got 80 quid to spend, I'm not buying Chivas. And if I've got 120 quid, I'm definitely not buying Dewar's.
Well, on this,
I'll put my hat on that.
Also, if you're going to get best blended whiskey, which I assume in that we could include blended malt, because the blended malt category is afterwards.
Well,
okay.
no, because that's the next category.
Yeah, okay. So fair enough. So let's just move on then. So, best blended malt whiskey 2023 from the OSWAs. Mike, what are the options?
Douglas Lane's Big Pete, 46% ABV, 40 quid. Campbelltown Lock, 46%, 40 quid. Compass Box No Name, 48.9%. Big jump in price, 105 quid. Compass Box Orchard House, 46%, £46. The Douglas Lang's, the Goldrons, 46.2% and 50 quid. And another Thompson Brothers, the SRV 5, 8-year-old, 48.5% ABV and 38 quid. Now, again, that category represents really good value there. Blended malts as well, so there's no sort of grain in there. And
I kind of feel like
that is a tough category.
It's a really tough category. It is.
To me, there's 3 really good whiskies that are priced outstandingly there. 4 actually. I'll say 4 because Big Pete is decent as well.
Yeah.
But I'd have to go with Compass Box Orchard House. I think is number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Close second, the Thompson Brothers SRV 5.
I would say there's quite a lot of difference in the Campbellton Lock batches. So that's the first thing to say. Like batch variation's massive, right? I think we'll have to see how it goes with that whiskey as different batches come out. But you might really like one and like one less. So I'm going to rule that out just on batch variation, although it's good value, right? Compass Box Orchard House is pretty much nailed on, brilliant all the time. Big Pete is always decent value. Even the cast strength ones are decent value as well. Because it could have easily been cast strength. I mean, there's so many of them, the special editions. You can often get them really good value at auction as well. If you want to get good value, Isla whiskey. My only comment in this category would be, especially seeing as Compass Box No Name is in there, which is that there's loads of really good blended malt in the sort of price bracket of sort of 45 to kind of £80, whether it's Thompson Brothers or Old Perth. You've got loads of options. And so if you're willing to spend sort of 50 to £70, I would be picking stuff that isn't written down here. That would be my observation.
I think, again, it must be based on votes that I think it's done basically on suggestions from obviously people that are got a profile in YouTube, everywhere else.
Oh yeah, definitely. I get that. So if we have to,
there's only can be 6.
But if we have to, if I have to pick 2, I'm going to go with Orchard House Compass Box. Orchard House Compass Box. Yeah, Compass Box, Orchard House, and Douglas Lang's Big Pete. They're the 2 I'm going to go for. Yeah.
Fair, nice.
Right, next category. Shall I do this one?
What are we on? Go on then.
Yeah, best non-malt whiskey 2023 from the OSWAs. We've got Blue Spot 7-year-old 58.9%. Apparently, it's coming in about £85. I've had 1 bottle of that. We've got Elijah Craig Barrel Proof 60+% ABV, £115. Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof 60+% ABV, £74. Loch Lomond Single Grating Peated 46% ABV, £30. Wild Turkey 101, it's 50.5%, great ABV on that, £35. Yeah. And Wild Turkey Rare Breed 58.4% ABV, £55. Now,
some bangers.
There are some bangers there, aren't they? Best non-malt whiskey 2023. What a category. I mean, really.
I think next year they have to go, as I pour, they have to include American and separate it out because there's so many good Irish ones out there now. There's so many good American whiskies.
A lot of the cask strength Irish
you've
ones.
got the single grain peated. Like that should be a category in itself. You've got 3 categories there that you'd probably get like another 6 easily. That would fill those, just open people's minds a bit more to other ones. But have
you tried all of them?
Drunk. Well, I'm trying to think what I've had. Everything apart. No, I've had all of them.
Yeah, I've had all of them.
I've had all of them.
I've only had samples or pours of the Elijah Craig and the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel. I haven't had a whole bottle of them. Blue Spot whole bottle, the Loch Lomond Grain whole bottle, and 101 and Rare Breed whole bottle. Yeah. So I think it's harder to judge the 2 where you've only had a sample.
Yeah.
So what are we going to pick are the 2 favourites in that category then, Mike?
So for me, your Jack Daniel's Single Barrel, if that price was a bit lower all day long, so I picked those up.
You can't hide from value, can you? You can never hide from value. That's the problem.
Jack Daniel's had a sale probably, it must be going back 4 years now, and it was 50% off. And I absolutely just maxed out and got, I think I had about 10 bottles of the Single Barrel.
Loaded up.
I got loads of their like cask strength Ryes, and they are outstanding. And I don't know whether I buy it at 74% because I got 74 quid because I got spoilt by the 50% off. But when you actually judge it on its own, it's amazing whiskey. And the Loch Lomond Single Grain just represents such good values, as does the 101. So it's a toss-up for me, really, between that Single Barrel and the 101. I'd lean towards 101 just for availability and value. And the winner would have to be Loch Lomond Single Grain for me, because it is just amazing stuff and so cheap.
It is really good value. I'm going to go with the Loch Lomond Single Grain and Wild Turkey Rare Breed, 58.4% Rare Breed. Nice. Belter.
Nice.
Very nice. The next category is Best Distillery 2023. There's 6 in here to consider. So you've got Ardnamurchan, you've got Ben Romack.
You can't say Ardnamurchan without doing the Street Fighter.
Ardnamurchan, Spinning Bird Kick, Ben Romack, Bugladi, Glen Scotia, Loch Lomond, and Springbank. So, Best Distillery 2023, Mike, what are your thoughts?
Loch Lomond.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to argue.
Done.
Well, we can pick 2. We can pick 2, can't we? So you're going to go and Glen Scotia. Yeah, I think it is difficult though, because look, without.
Do you know what's coming in a close third? It's hard because
they're all fantastic.
Good stuff.
They're all fantastic. That's the thing. Aren't they? The only one
But Loch Lomond and Glen Scotia are smashing stuff out regularly, decent prices. As you said, we had Michael on recently, and I know I've been to the Loch Lomond distillery and the bloody efforts they put into actually experimenting with all these different types of yeast and
they're pushing the boundaries,
fermentation.
But then, to be fair, so do Brookladdick. They do loads of experimentation as well. But I don't feel as closer an affinity with them, despite the fact that I've tried even some of their, the micro-provenance series and things like that. So they do a lot of experimentation as well. Different types of experimentation, lots more cask experimentation.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I think the only one I would rule out would be probably Springbank. Although it's obviously magical, all the single cask stuff is out of reach now.
Yeah,
it's just too difficult to get hold of stuff, and so you kind of just sort of have to sort of mentally sort of give up on it. I mean, I've got some, but I mean, it's not the same.
If we tell everyone it's rubbish, maybe they'll stop buying it.
Well, but even then, really, if you put one side by side with a nice first fill Glen Scotia, sort of 8 to sort of 12-year-old, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, really, you know, often the Glen Scotia's punching above, I think. So I don't know. I'm going to go for 2. I think I'm going to go for Glen Scotia and Ben Romack. And you're going to go for Scotia and Loch Lomond, right?
Yeah.
Even though I really love Loch Lomond. I've got loads of it in the cupboard as well.
I'm loyal, Michael, yeah? Just remember that. Yeah. Michael Henry.
They're coming to you from Scotland. Popular drams that you can buy outside of Bartland. Except maybe Springbank Tet. Have a tea ceremony in your garden of Zen. Yeah, hold my Glen Camp with my pinky extended to a Michael-Omri. Yeah, blend it. 9 categories, or is that categories? Did you know Robert Burns dwelled in Dumfries? Yeah, check out the OSWAs. Check out the OSWAs.
And then what's the next category? Best new distillery for 2023. Not necessarily for 2023, let me just say. So it's a new distillery, as in they've only been running probably, I'm going to guess, about 5 years.
I don't know. I mean, obviously they.
Yeah, if you look at Bimber. Bimber's been going for
more than that. 7 years now. They're up to 7 years. Yep.
Oh, how time flies.
Yeah.
So Ardnamurchan, Bimber.
Lags at about 5 years, I think.
Raasay, Kingsbarn,
7-ish.
Lag, and Lindors. So heavy hitters there. And I think all of them are just putting out amazing stuff straight like from all the stuff I've tasted. I've only had samples of the Kingsbarns, and I think I've had the Lag. I seem to have written something down somewhere about Lag previously, but I won't comment too much on that one because I'm not 100%.
I've only tried a sample of like 1 or 2. That's it. So
Lindors, I was straight found a member of that one as soon as I could, and I love the stuff they're putting out. Really, really lovely whiskey. And Ardnamurchan, again, producing great whiskey, nice and young, but like a really good price. Bimber, I was a founder member of those guys as well. I love what they're doing. If you can get hold of it, it's good stuff. Their standard releases now, as they're approaching that age where they can now potentially do a sort of a core release, as it were, are becoming more available and better value. So, yeah, I think my one would have to be Lindors first, with Ardnamurchan second.
Right, okay. I'm going to go for Ardnamurchan and Bimber. I think. Nice. But I've tried quite a few Raasays. I've tried a whole bunch of Kingsbarns, which I think they're all really good. That's the point. I mean, this is like 6 excellent distilleries, and some of the Lindor stuff, some of the spirit is incredible, but still, being in London, I'm going to go for Bimber.
But you know what? I'm so super excited by what Bimber's achieved in London for Dunfail when they're finally opening up in Scotland and doing everything in the right way, as it were. I think a couple of years they will be absolutely amazing. So watch that space.
Yeah, I sort of agree. Yeah, right. Should we do the next category then, Mike? We've got a couple more to go.
What we on? So we're on best independent bottler. Cadenheads, Gordon and MacPhail, North Star Spirits, Signatory Vintage, Scotch Malt Whisky Society, SMWS, and Thompson Brothers. What are you thinking?
That's easy for me. So this is best IB, right? Well, it's SMWS. And second position, I mean, you could literally take a toss up. Cadenheads, I often find like the stuff's either just the same stuff being churned out again and again, or it's too expensive and I pick it up at auction instead. Gordon MacPhail, I mean, they've literally declared they're not going to be an independent bottler anymore, and their stuff's been creeping up in price. North Star Spirits, I've tried a few of theirs. Again, I think they're good quality, but again, they can be a bit sort of pricey. I think I'm going to have to go for Signatory Vintage and Scotch Malt Whisky Society, because Signatory Vintage does a whole kind of range. I've drunk loads of their stuff. I've had a bit of Thompson's. Obviously, they're all good independent bottlers, but if I had to pick 2, SMWS because of just the pure range, what they do, the way they approach things. Like and some of the more wacky stuff they put out, and then SV. Right? That's what I would go for. Yeah,
I think SMWS for me in first, and then
we're both members though as well, aren't we? So we should say that really.
I think, I think my membership might be running out, but yeah, we are.
They kicked him out.
Then I would probably go Signatory second, same as you, but like only just ahead of Thompson Brothers, and I mean just. But I think next year, if Cadenheads keep going the way they're going, they seem to have recovered. They had a massive blip. They used to be amazing a few years back, and then they suddenly just, I don't know, they just seem to lose their way. They started bottling rubbish, and they seem to be kind of getting back.
Tell us what you really think, Mike.
Yeah. Honest to a malt, eh?
Yeah. That's kind of what I said, but less cutting.
Yeah, I don't care. So, and then category after that, we're on best.
Well, can I just say on that? Some people are moaning about the costs of like SMWS bottles. Guess what? All bottlers' prices are going up, and then you'll hear some people moan. I picked up, that single cask. I think it's single cask Glenlivet or a small batch or something. Some of the stuff I've been getting. I think they still put out like a cask strength small batch Macallan recently, which you could get hold of a bottle of, and people still moan, right? Like. They're putting out single cost Macallan stuff sometimes at like £75, right, or £80, or they're putting out.
The whole thing about the SMWS is they're putting out wacky stuff that doesn't necessarily fit that portfolio that the brand wants. And that's why we're getting.
They have amazing.
You always got to take a gamble.
They've got amazing Glen Scotia single casks. I mean, just for that alone, I would vote them as number one. So I
try and buy a good whiskey that someone's recommended, like you and Callum and Kate and stuff did to me. Yeah. But then I'll chuck in a random 40 quid bottle in that might have been sat there for 2 years and no one's bought. Yeah. Just because you never know. That's weird.
There was literally an Ardmore called Smoky Bloody Mary recently, which I tried at the bar, and I got a second pour of it, and it was like Worcestershire sauce, like a Bloody Mary. It had kind of salt and vinegar, fish and chips in there. Where are you going to get that from? I've drunk loads of whiskey, as have you. I've never tried that exact profile. Yeah. And they're the kind of people that put that kind of stuff in bottles. So what I wanted to say is, from my perspective, and I don't mind what people think, I feel like they're head and shoulders above the rest. Even with people saying that they're going backwards and they're losing their way and all this kind of stuff and they've got too much of the wrong kind of stock. Even with all of that, I still feel like they're head and shoulders above. That's my point.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I've said it now. Right. We have no linkages to them other than being paid members. So we literally just pay for the privilege of being part of the club, or I do anyway.
Exactly.
Mike's lapsed his membership. Okay, next one. Best World Whiskey 2023. We got Blue Spot 7-year-old, 58.9%. That's the second time that's featured, isn't it? Indri Trini 3-wood, 46%, £40. Cavalan Solist Vino Barrique, 50+%, £200. Nika Yuichi Naz, 45%, £79. Powers John's Lane, 12-year-old, 46%, ABV, £59. And featuring for a second time again, Wild Turkey Rare Breed, 58.4%, ABV, £55 from America. In particular, Kentucky, right?
If I have to pick two, easy.
Go on
the Powers John Lane 12 and the Wild Turkey Rare Breed.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know, it's pretty dull to agree with you. I tried that Powers John Lane, but I've not had a whole bottle of it, and that's my fault. Whereas I have had a whole bottle of the Blue Spot 7-year-old. I've tried quite a lot of the Cavalan Soloist. I don't think I've tried the Indri Trini 3-wood, so I can't comment on that.
No,
Nika Yuichi I've tried, didn't impress me. So I'm going to go with the Blue Spot 7-year-old and the Rare Breed. Yeah.
I'd probably have the Powers John Lane first for me out of the two. Rare Breed
okay. I need to get a bottle of that then, don't I? Right.
Yeah. I mean, the price annoys me somewhat because it used to be so much cheaper, but that's just same as everything.
Same as everything, can't moan about that all the time.
I actually bought that for one of the boys recently. He did me a little favour on, did me some planning drawings. So I was like, here you go. I'll have a bottle of that in the post. So hopefully he'll let me know what he thinks soon. But quite straightforward.
Fingers crossed, right? He'll just send you a text and say, that whiskey was really nice.
Just indoctrinating the rest of the world slowly.
The planning drawings? Yeah. Sometime, yeah.
Yeah, it just comes over in crayon.
Yeah. Did your son or daughter draw this? Maybe. Yeah. That Cavalan Soloist Vino Barrique is totally unique as a whiskey. It's something you should try, but it's not something that I would vote as the best world whiskey. It's so overwhelming. I feel like you're going to need to be sitting down when you try it, I think, for a start. It's got its very distinct profile. Is that the one we had in a tasting the other day with... I've tried a few of them now. I mean, there's so many expressions.
I got a sample of that the other day.
I mean, even their kind of Sherrywood edition is a bit bonkers and out there.
I love their stuff, but sorry, again, I go back to price. 200 quid, not a chance.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it?
No.
So let's go on to the last category then, which is...
the best Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Scotland's in the UK, so you can say that legitimately still, as it stands. Wow.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
So 6 really decent drams here, and Ben Roma cask strength.
6 bangers. They should have called this the bangers category, shouldn't they? They should have said...
Yes, 6 bangers.
Yeah, the best banger
bangers
Scotch
and mash.
whiskey.
Oh, there you go. That's another little handle I might have to create for myself.
Go on then, what are they? Run us down.
Ben Roma cask strength, 50% plus ABV, obviously batch variation, 60 quid. Bunnahabhain 12 cask strength, 50% plus ABV, again based on batch strength, 75 quid.
Go on to the third one now, aren't they?
The Glen Scotia Victoriana, 54.2% ABV at £75. The Lechik 18, 46.3% ABV and £85. Port Charlotte 10, 50% ABV, 55. And then the Springbank 10, 46% ABV and 52. So a couple of reappearances, obviously, from some of the other categories, but some completely from left field there with the Victoriana. Where are you at on that one?
We've generally been picking 2, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to go straight off the bat. The Bunnahabhain 12-year-old cask strength. Tried 2.
Agree. Hands down.
Just
first. No
just
questions.
really just absolutely beautiful. And if you wanted to get yourself a cask strength, sort of 12-year-old whiskey, I'd be looking at that, or maybe nodding your head over to Ireland. If you want to get something really special, right? But that you can get hold of easily. That's the difference. Yeah. Victorian's a great dram. Ben Roma cask strength. They're all pretty wonderful as well. I think the other one I'd have to go for here would probably be the Lechik 18-year-old. I think based on just how good it is for the money. But they're all great. I know people love Springbank 10-year-old, and I think it's a top dram, but I personally don't think it's better than, for example, the Lechik 18-year-old or the Port Charlotte 10-year-old, in my view. However fruity it is.
I think I'd probably go, as you said, Bunnahabhain first, and then for me, I'd go Ben Roma cask strength second. It's that hidden, the Springbank alternative, which proper whiskey lovers do not want out into the ether. People
if you're going to go Ben
Roma, about it.
Go cask strength, I think, because obviously their core range is a bit lower ABV, isn't it? It's typically 43%.
If you think everyone's scrambling for Springbank 10, don't get me wrong, it's a lovely drink. 46% at £52, whereas you can get a Ben Roma higher ABV for a couple of quid more, available. If you like it, you can pick up that same batch.
Also Dunwich warehouses, isn't it? So you're also, the casks are stored in sort of a similar way. Less coastal, to be fair, but not exactly the same, just to be clear, but sort of similar, sort of lightly to mid-peated, mixture between sherry and bourbon cask, depending on what you're getting. So so you're going to go the Ben Romac cask strength, any one of those, and the Bunna 12-year-old cask strength. I'm going to go for the Bunna cask strength and the Chick 18-year-old.
Nice.
Yeah,
there you go. OSWA's wrapped up.
OSWA's done and dusted. And we encourage you to tune in and watch the ceremony and engage in the chit chat afterwards about what you think, because I can't even imagine the amount of work that has to go into getting this sorted. Like a pain in the arse would be the understatement. If we had Roy and Ralfy on, he'd be like, "What's been up your arse?" The OSWAs. Something I'm really proud of, but oh God, I bet that's annoying them. They must be so glad when it's done. Well, it's their brainchild, their idea, isn't it? So I think credit to them. I think everyone is grateful for this kind of discussion around value and what the community really thinks are the best whiskey, as opposed to other more traditional awards, and so we back it. We think it's a good idea, and we're happy to see it continuing.
Keep an eye out for our video on the nights where I mess up, but we left it in one take only. This is kind of our thing.
That's what we do.
Try
One
and limit
take.
The editing.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Much appreciated.
Yes. And we will catch you on the next one. Obviously, catch us on all social medias as usual at Honest or Malt on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, everything else. And again, from me, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.